in this seat is he has had over 10 or 12 years on planning and zoning, and giving his time for the city of Roswell. And he's been, he was also on the Airport Advisory Commission for, I believe, 3 years or so. So he has a long history of giving his time to the city and being very involved with the city. I have no idea about any other of his political persuasions or anything else. I have known him, I've seen him in his work. He is very involved in our community, in his realtor work. He's been involved. He grew up here, his father was in the same boat, his brother was in the same boat, all his brothers, his whole family has been involved in Roswell and making Roswell a better place. And so I would ask that this body approve this nomination of Riley A. Armstrong to fill Mr. Cavan's seat upon his resignation.
At 5 o'clock tomorrow.
At 5 o'clock tomorrow. Would you care to say anything, Mr. Armstrong?
I don't know what it would be.
That's good, it'll keep you out of trouble.
You're right.
You know, if I'm gonna say anything, it would just be that, I believe the city is losing a great council person in, Will Cavan. He's done a great job. It's not gonna be easy to replace him. I know that, I understand it. And, I think it's a great opportunity for Mr. Cavan to go back to the county, but I think it's the city's loss. And that's just how I feel about it. I appreciate the mayor, recommending and nominating me, and I look forward to working with all of the council members, including those in, citizens in Ward 2, and really probably throughout the city.
Any of you councilors have any questions you would like to ask Mr. Armstrong? I don't know if you have to answer them. You can ask him if you want. All right. See, so let's see. On a motion by Councilor Corn, I didn't catch who seconded that. Cavan, I'm sorry, that's right. I knew we were gonna do the last thing. All right. On a motion by Councilor Corn, seconded by Councilor Cavan, if the clerk would call the roll, or do you want a voice vote? Oh, we better call the roll.
Councilor Cavan,
Yes.
Councilor Maruco,
Yes.
Councilor Corn,
Yes.
Councilor Johnson,
Yes.
Councilor Oropesa,
Yes.
Councilor Halverson,
Yes.
Councilor Gass,
Yes.
Councilor Arnold.
Yes.
Can I get 4 of you to change so I can vote?
No.
It's my turn, I can make him internally indebted to me.
Not gonna happen.
By a vote of 8 in the affirmative and none in the negative, welcome Mr. Armstrong tomorrow. You will be at Cattle Baron at 5:01 buying drinks? Oh. Yeah, we will have to swear you in a special meeting on Monday. Before, that will be the first thing that we do. Okay? All right. Welcome Ward, and we will miss you.
I'm not going to.
I know, but you know, it's really good that when I look around sometimes with some of the changes we're having, but we're having, and what's going on now, we've had some real significant changes on bringing the city, the county, and the school board, I think, where we work together 100% of the time. And, you know, I think we're always resistant to change, but a lot of times, I think we're in the boat where we can really all work together. And, so I'm really excited about this in a lot of ways. Okay, moving right along, item 3. If we'll go back to item 3. And, item 3 on today's deal. Okay, this is item 3, this is ordinance 2604, is to authorize to advertise for public hearing, consider adopting ordinance 2604, an ordinance amending the city council's purchasing procedures. So I have Councilor Gass to make a motion.
I make the motion that we authorize to advertise public hearing, consider adopt proposal ordinance 2604, an ordinance amending the city of Roswell's purchasing procedures.
Second.
And who was the second? Was that?
It's a flip between Councilor Ford and Councilor Arnold.
Okay, I thought on first, so that's, sorry. Okay. So, for item 3, on a motion by Councilor Gass, seconded by Councilor Corn to authorize the advertise for a public hearing, consider adopting ordinance number 26-04, an ordinance amending the city of Roswell's purchasing procedures. Okay. So, Councilor, Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to pull this, I could not speak about this at the Finance Committee meeting, so I wanted to put in the strongest of terms, that is the staff and management position, that this not be approved, at least as it is written. The core goal of what I understood when we initiated this long process for procurement changes was partly to increase transparency, partly to increase efficiency, and partly to remove what had become a checkered history, especially with it being inherited with procurement problems. This ordinance does not really do any of those things, and I'll explain. As the transparency issue, as I had already commented earlier, and sorry, let me go back to, this is also after having spoken to counselors in public meetings about the purchasing policy. It was clear that it wasn't entirely, they weren't entirely sure what this was doing. So let me begin by saying what would happen if this were to pass. Now, the most pertinent part is on page 7 of your agenda. Subsection B of section 2-146 says that in order for management to spend money effectively, we'd have to go for approval for any unbudgeted or unappropriated expenditure regardless of amount. That is a truism already. State law, section 666, simply mandates that. There's no money that I can spend unless you've given it to me. So that is a surplusage language. Now, if you wanted, and we have a lot of surplusage, as a guy who used to draft your ordinances, and I'm guilty having drafted part of this, it's not a good way to write law. The second part is any contract, when within budget, with an annual contract value exceeding $125,000 or any contract in an aggregate multi-year commitment. So a purchase order is a contract. So to make sure it is abundantly clear, under this ordinance, if anybody tries to purchase something more than $125K, i.e. issue a PO, it has to go to council. This results in a double appropriation process for basic things, such as cars. And so for me, if we talk about efficiency, this is a giant wrench in the system. The real check on what happens on the executive side for expenditures comes in budget. You guys took 2.5 months working on that budget. A lot of time to ask questions. I think the staff did a reasonable job answering them. Any budget that's worth 175 million is gonna have some hiccups in it, and that's why we try to clean it up over time. I'd also point out too, if what this doesn't really consider a ton is materiality also. So if we have a budget, so Ms. Thompson said she got another 2.5 million, so our budget's gonna be around $177 million. 125,000 is simply not a material amount. And it sounds kind of insensitive to the average person, but when you think about what a police car fully loaded is costing $80,000 under a state price agreement, it's not what you're trying to accomplish in terms of monitoring expenditures. Now, as far as procurement efficiency goes, this absolutely does not accomplish that. What did is the procurement policy that you guys voted on, and we took months coming together with the treasurer's office, with the city attorney's office, myself, our chief procurement officer, who's statutorily exempt really from me telling her how to make purchases. And I think that's another check you guys should be familiar with it. I can tell her to do something and she just gets to say no. She's the only staff member who can really just never, can question my determinations in her independent expertise as the purchasing officer. I think Mr. Johnson can attest to that. So within that, it doesn't actually make it quicker. Once it's in budget, having to go to you guys again is just frankly a double appropriation. If the council wants to do double appropriation, we don't need to spend as much time on budget. Right? You guys were here a lot for that, so what's the point? Now, it also does impair the value purchasing. So procurement is one of those things where we value transparency, but it's actually designed to get the best value. Now, something that does hurt us that we've discussed, and it was discussed in public safety, is when you go through a double appropriation process, you're necessarily adding up to 30 days, maybe longer if we're going to RFP. And under state price agreements, prices can go up monthly. So in the case of the police cars, we actually end up spending $26,000 more for those vehicles because under our price agreement because of the delays. That doesn't happen all the time, but it's simply something that we should be able to avoid. Now, does this reduce findings? It does not. If anything, it would increase, I shouldn't say it should increase, it shouldn't increase them either. But if you look at what the actual findings were in terms of procurement, in the special audit, all the findings that I self-reported on your behalf, many of them were actually tied to council behavior. You guys are a little better than some of your predecessors. What the core about making sure we get best value is following that procurement code itself. The actual appropriation that you guys would make a second time if this passes, you don't get to choose the vendor. The procurement code chooses the vendor for everybody, unless it's exempt from procurement. So in any case, the positives of more transparency, it doesn't increase. Did we lose that? And this is what and I promised this to you guys and we finally rolled it out. If you just Google Roswell, New Mexico expenditures, click on the first link, there you go, monthly expenditures. Right now, it's a pretty basic list in an Excel format because Tyler's awful. However, once we're at NetSuites, we've already spoken with, Treasury has spoken with the vendor, and they will meet every criteria that's in this ordinance. And we're just gonna post it every month, simple as that. We're also going to see if we can design it so that we can also have all revenue posted online. So you have an immediate monthly review of every check coming in, every check going out, who made it, what department got it, or on behalf of what department made it, and then the type of expenditure. So on this sheet, you'll see a large expenditure to a vendor that if you Google, it just says Fleet EO. And so what it would appear like is Fleet EO, sanitation, or fleet, software, amount, date. And if public wants more, very good, just hit up the poor clerk's office with an IPRA, and we can give you every piece of paper under the sun. You guys, of course, just shoot an email and we'll get it to you immediately. So it isn't gonna be reducing our findings. It isn't going to increase transparency in any way, any more than we're already providing at least. And it leads to inefficiencies in the procurement that we are doing. So finally, and this is just a personal note from a guy who's been the manager for a little while now, it really shackles management. And while you guys are conducting a search, and let's say you're wedded to this idea, that is your prerogative. I don't think, I'd suggest doing it as a resolution, I'll explain that in a second. But if you have to do it, you really don't know. It's best to sit and see what type of manager you get. Because some applicants are gonna say, you know what, that's not how I manage, it's not gonna work. So finally, the con that I'd say, aside from redundancy, not increasing transparency, decreasing actual value of what we can procure, and slowing down procurement generally, it also ought to be in a resolution format. And the reason I say that is budgets under state law are done by resolution, and this is partly because of the Bateman Act. You guys can create by ordinance special funds for special purposes, but this type of legislation ought to be in the budget itself each year. For example, if we have a 10% inflation year, God forbid, next year, instead of having to go through a whole ordinance process to go from 125 to 130, you might just put it in the budget. It didn't make it into this budget, but the original budget I did propose, in fact, had language like that in it. And so it's very easily inserted. If you look at that very first draft you got in that different format that you guys didn't all love, it's there. So that's my suggestion. It can be, I would suggest you not advertise, that gives it a 6-month clock. By then you'll have somebody new in my shoes, and you can figure out with them what is the best way forward with somebody who you hired to professionally execute your purchases in conjunction with Raleigh. Or see how the current procedure is working out for you, which you only adopted last month. Thank you.
Okay, Council Lady Halverson.
First, I did like the first budget that we got, it was really nice. I agree with you, because if it's already been approved, and the budget's been approved, I think, like you said, we lost $26,000 because we had to go through procurement again. I think it's just too much. If we have a supervisor, they know what their budget is, if it's already been approved, I think we should let them do their job.
Thank you, Council Lady Arnold.
Okay, for some reason I've had a hard time with words, so everybody just bear with me tonight. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm gonna say I'm slightly confused, in the sense that I have been a huge proponent of understanding what the administration needs, the flaws the administration sees, and how we make better policy to support the flow for our city staff. Where I'm concerned in this is, we wrote this under the direction of the auditor. We wrote this with the review of the auditor. And so I get that there's some things wrong with it, but if we throw it out with the bathwater, does it not just go back to 60,000? I mean, this is at 125,000. These are new policies. So if we actually do not pass this, do we not just go back to where we were, whereas I understand it was really bad?
Mr. Mayor, Counselor, no, the way the ordinance is written now is that the manager has authority to create the policies and procedures. What happened was, so you guys passed a policy and procedure. When it went to public safety, you were there, a number of the committee members said, why is this here again? And I said, well, because the policy caps me at 125. And all the members of the committee said, well, that is not what we intended, we misunderstood.
I did not.
Or you didn't know, you were the only one.
I was the only one.
Yes.
Because I recognize the action that the public safety, but it's a whole lot bigger than that one measure. And I think we're missing a whole lot policy-wise in actually taking it like this, because I get, we were at 60,000. We moved to 125. I know the request was 250, but I'm not really sure what the administration wants, because the administration has been at all the meetings. There were perfect times to insert those kind of things. And then doing it in a public safety with 3 members, and then not telling the council, so that says, where are we? Yeah, we have this in front of us, we remove it, where are we? Do we go right back to the 60, or do we go back to what you did in public safety without notifying the rest of the council?
Oh, no, I thought I'd sent it out to everybody.
No, you did not.
Oh, well, that was an oversight. Yeah, that what management would like is to spend what you guys put in budget and not a cent more.
So considering that I have not yielded, so considering that our auditor requested this,
That is not correct.
she did not request it?
No, this was drafted at Ed Hildebrand's recommendation. The auditor saw it in the newspaper. She said, whoa, 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 the number of 60,000 is ludicrous. If you're going to do it, if at all, 500,000 was her recommendation. It was then amended downward at your motion.
So what I remember receiving from the auditor was a full outline that was not an ordinance, and then we sat down and did this aspect of it. That's what I'm saying. So that's kind of why I'm confused on, because honestly, my goal is to make sure that you flow. But what I'm seeing is just as poor as the 60,000. We are not making good policy. We are not communicating. This does not cover it all. And I can tell you, I agree that probably the best thing to do is table it. But I still have the question. I believe we should table it and send it back to legal until we have a new administrator. But that being said, if we do that, where are we at? Talk to me about where, so are we at the 60?
No, we are not.
When did we get rid of the 60?
We never had it.
Yeah, the council never did the 60. That was the whole point of the extra. What I'd been flagging for years is that the manager shouldn't have unilateral authority. To this day, I mean that. However, the way you check that is by having the manager give you notice of a change, and then you can swoop in and be like, no, 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 no. And by resolution, you tell them what it has to be. That has never happened. And in my previous life is what I advise repeatedly. So what, if you want to have more discussion, legal committee is the committee of original jurisdiction, and that would be appropriate.
Mr. Chair, I'll yield for that.
Okay. Counselor Corn. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It was interesting when you said that you proposed policy discussion and budget. And for 6 years, I've been saying there's no policy discussion in this budget. And I've been trying to get it done. And then you do it, I didn't know it was there.
Yeah, so it was in the definitions and policies section of the first budget. That budget, at the request of the finance committee, was adjusted into the old format.
Okay? I'll have a discussion with the chairman offline. But, at this point, my observation is, we've been kicking this around. October of last year, I believe Councilman Hildebrand brought this forward. We've kicked it around. They brought it to the city council. Then it was supposed to go to finance, but somehow it found its way to legal. I still haven't figured that out, because that was not what the wishes of the city council was. Should have gone to finance and then back here instead of legal finance back here. And I don't think, we've been talking about this now for a long time. You guys are talking about efficiency and time. October, November, December, January, March, April, May, June, July, 9 months. We've been kicking this around. It's been right here, the same place, at least twice, maybe 3 times. And we got some people wanting to send it back someplace else. It's just as easy to pass it. And then if you need to amend it at a later date. But at least you've made a statement.
And I guess Mr. Oh, no, I mean, yeah, you can pass it, or like you, oh, no, I mean, my recommendation is you kill it. This does not do what it purports to do. All it will do is slow things down. Let the policy you passed work.
You have any more questions, Councilor Corn? Councilor Gas and then Councilor Cattle.
We were told forever that 60,000 was the number. And just in the last month, we were told, oh no, that really wasn't ever in place. That's what happened. And then we passed the purchasing policy without going through the finance committee, which I don't know how that happens, because there isn't any school that teaches purchasing policy in the legal committee. It always is through business administration, but sort of went around that, didn't go through two committees, but if it only went to one, it should have been in finance. Still irritates me. But we should pass this because it's been gone around. I disagree with a lot of your points. I'm not gonna go into detail, but we should pass this. We are starting to work on another policy, and what we hope to end up with after that's done is you pass the budget. If it's in the budget and you don't change line items, you don't have to come back to us for approval. You just have to tell us everything over 60,000. That is not what this is. I understand that. But that would not handicap management. And we want to do that, and we want to limit the amount, we would want to limit the amount of line item changes before you go to the finance committee. But that would give,
Well, I'm glad you're working on policy without consulting me, but
well, the city council directs the city. And there are some people in the finance committee that have talked about this because of all this. And, we can come up with an idea before we give it to anybody, but that's what you've asked for. And that doesn't handicap city management at all. But right now, we should pass this because it's been rebutted all around, and it's been increased from our 60, which we were told, oh, that's not even, hasn't ever been in existence, to 125. We were told that.
I don't know who told you that, but I guess I wasn't here for that one.
I can ask Counselor sitting here if that happened, but that happened. And so, I don't want to argue about it, but we should pass this for now and then work on getting what we really want to have here as soon as we can.
Sure. I guess I just want to clarify where that 60,000 came from. So the city manager, the 60,000 number goes back to Polisek. He said anything over 60,000 as a matter of procurement goes to the council. That was kept by Neb. That was kept by Cole.
But there was no ordinance about it, so it really isn't in existence.
No, a policy exists. Like, you can get an audit finding for a policy violation. Putting something in ordinance for a budget like this, that was quite ill-advised. You guys,
a lot of work in this. The internal auditor has looked at it, and it says right here, before the staff recommended it and the internal auditor did. And we should pass it. That's my opinion. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Tavern.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I'm going to concur with the things that Councilor Halverson said, and as far as the concerns that this whole deal started in legal, and this is a policy deal that should have been in legal, and you can think it should be in finance all you want. It probably should have never been sent back to finance so that finance could control things like they like to. But this is a legal deal. This started in legal, should have finished in legal. As far as I'm concerned at this particular stage, I'm a hard no on this right now because we have new management that's coming in, and this is just doing nothing more than handcuffing management. We pass the budget, the management, the administration should be able to expend those dollars that have been budgeted that we spent 4 months really working on, but because somebodies have to control everything, you're gonna make it that much harder and slow the process down. And that's one of our biggest problems here in the city, is that we've got too many people that are micromanaging, and I can appreciate those that are of high intelligence on this city council right now, but sometimes you have to let staff take care of their jobs and do their business and not have to sit there and constantly run to the till and go through the whole process again when we've already budgeted for that stuff. As far as I'm concerned, I'm a hard no on this, and you guys I'm leaving, you guys are gonna have to figure this out. You pass it tonight, that's great. You guys are gonna be dealing with it. And the new manager and the new, assistant manager and everybody else, you're gonna be the ones that are gonna be dealing with this. And so, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any further comment? Councilman Halverson.
I just wanna say, why do we sit for hours and days working on a budget if we're not gonna depend on the people who know what their budget is and let them spend the money? If they're not, if we can't rely on them in that position, why in that position? They know what their budget is, they know what they need, we've already approved the budget. This is so redundant and takes so much longer and it's hurt us obviously in the past, so I'm with Will, the hard no on this.
Any further comments?
If I may, I'd like to ask a question. So we pass a budget, we all know, hey, this is a budgeted item. And then they know it's budgeted, they go find the service, they get a purchase order. And we've got the luxury of looking at the purchase order because it comes back to us, and we make sure that it is allocated to the budget that we initially approved, as long as it met that 60,000 threshold. And am I reading this wrong, but isn't that the reason it comes back to council to begin, round two is to see that not only is it a budget item, but now we're looking to see that, and we're confident, and the transparency's there, that not only did we budget it for that, but it got expense for that. And that was my perception of what this is all about. I don't know why we're seeing it any different, other than, look, this is your comment, that if, at the end of the month, we can go to the Roswell website and we can see everything that was expense on it, which I think is a great idea. But that's kind of after the fact, but if that's what you guys want to live with, that's fine with you, unless you guys want to make sure that the expenditures, and of course, there's a level of trust there, but do we actually want to see that what we put in budget was actually expense for that item in budget? And look, sometimes it does slow procurement down. Procurement in government by design is not a racehorse. But it does require transparency to the taxpayers.
Sure.
So that was my comment, and I want you guys to be efficient by all means, but I also want a level of trust in my constituents that we made sure what we budgeted was expense to that item. So.
Sure,
That's
if that's the case, then.
That's my thought process.
Yeah,
and I do trust everybody.
But clearly not.
Job, but I think it's a good checks and balance, if you will.
Sure, I guess it would be really obnoxious if we did the same thing at the state level. Call the legislature every month to make sure that, it flies in the face of how government typically operates.
Yeah.
And so, and it does smack of lack of trust of me. This ordinance is part of the reason I'm going. Right, that you sit there and, I'm just gonna read some numbers real quick for you guys. Beginning cash balance when I got here was 51.8. The next year it was 63.4. The next year it was 67.3. The next year it was 70.4. And that last year it jumped up to 99 million. And this year, I, with Chad, who's now gone, delivered $112 million in cash. We have done unbelievable things to turn the ship around. And so for you guys to be like, we just got to double check every time you buy a car is a little obnoxious. It's very disappointing, and it doesn't actually better government.
Just real quick, so I just wanna make it clear, I know we know this, but I need the public needs to know this. When something large is purchased, it's not just that supervisor making the decision. It goes through, can you give us the channels?
Yes, absolutely. It depends on the type of procurement, but typically speaking, anything over $60,000 has to go through a sealed competitive process. Now, there are two main ways we execute this. One is it is done by, or three really. One is done by the state, and those are called price agreements, and we use those. We are able to use state price agreements and federal price agreements without rebidding. Within the procurement policy, what we do to guarantee that we do better though, is we require 3 quotes from people with price agreements. What will usually happen in the good times, it means that we get the price agreement price. In the bad times, when contractors are hungry, it means we actually can get below the price agreement. The other way is through a consented and sealed process. Now that typically means we put out a scope of work followed by a closed bidding process that is then scored by a panel chosen by the procurement officer that's supposed to have people with specialization in that area. They score this. That score then leads to a notice of award. This notice of award triggers a challenge period for any vendor who thinks that it was something that was not kosher. We've only had one challenge in my 4 years, and it wasn't actually to a true RFP. So we've been doing a pretty good job of, having been in other governments, you get a lot more contests typically. Once that occurs, the contract is awarded and a final negotiation for the contract is made.
But then it goes through Tony.
Yeah, now to the individuals. To even begin that process, first it will start with a budget request. It will then go to its respective committee. The respective committee will then make comments. It will then go to the finance committee. The finance committee will make multiple comments. It will then go to the full city council for approval on a preliminary budget. This budget is then reviewed about approximately a month later to make a final budget. Once it is in the budget, it is allocated by the treasurer's office to the respective departments. The person in charge of whatever type of procurement would happen would then have to make a request to typically the department director, who would then initiate these larger purchases. Some smaller purchases are done by. The larger purchase in turn is then sent to finance, where it goes through different verifications. The first one is, well, it might go to Vincent, and he would check, is the money actually in the line item? If not, request rejected. If it is, then it would proceed to Areli. Have you gotten your quotes? What is your scope of work? If it is an actual RFP that we issue, it immediately goes to legal for full legal review of the scope of work for legality, as well as the draft contract that is attached to it. Once it goes to Areli, it is then processed by either Tammy, our deputy, or the treasurer herself. If it's above 60,000, I make a final review and only sign off if it is copacetic with all applicable laws and regulations. Easy process.
Councilor, are you through? Councilor, you're on?
So, I must admit, I'm actually quite confused. I'm quite confused because I'm not sure how to vote on this. When it's noted that we wrote this and held back, I'll tell you, I was at the table when it was written. Councilman Johnson was at the table when it was written, with no intent to actually offend or demean anything that the administration does. It was actually a recommendation by the auditor. This was only created at the request of certain people. I understand the original may have come down in legal last year, but this actually right here was written by me and him and Areli. Ms. Tony, I believe you were there. The auditor was there, and you were there.
That was the policy, not the ordinance.
Isn't this the policy?
No, this is the ordinance.
The ordinance for the procurement amount. That's why I'm so confused, because I yield.
If I might, ordinance and policy are, one is a step higher than the other. I mean, so that.
So to clarify, the policy that you were in the audit committee was last month. This is an ordinance that would codify that in a much sterner way. So the policy can be changed by me, which again, why we need to change the ordinance about how I make policies, or whoever becomes the next guy. That is not what I'm disputing today. But what I'm saying is that 125 number is nuts. It doesn't accomplish what you think it does, nor will it. It's inconsistent with other government practice, and frankly, it is micromanaging.
Anybody else? All right, they're on basic New Mexico government. When we look at city government and how it was set up, when you have a mayor, city council, city manager form of government, the purchase of that, or the purpose of that when it was set up, was that the mayor picks the city manager and the councils rectify it, and then the council and they come, you all come up with the budget, the city council and everything does the budget and gives the guidance to him on the budget on how to spend things, and all the hiring of people under a mayor, city council, manager form of government, all the hiring of people and everything is under the city manager has the authority to do all the hiring in that, and he's responsible to the council and to the mayor, but that he has the authority to hire all the people. That stops local councilors from one coming up and saying, you gotta hire him for the water department. The other one coming, you gotta hire him for solid waste. And the other, somebody else coming saying that he's gotta hire somebody for the police chief. And, I mean, that's, well, the police chief, I mean, that's what, this is noted as a weak, kind of government for the city, for the mayor and the city councilor, because it gives the power to run all the day-to-day operations of the city to the city manager and his staff. And that is the way this type of government is structured to work. Now, what is gonna happen is, I see this, if we pass this. Now, the council, we all come up with a budget, we pass it, it goes to Santa Fe, it's rectified to do. So just take police cars. Every time, right, he can go out there and buy 10 police cars, because we put it in the budget to buy 10 police cars at whatever, $80,000 or whatever they come out to be. He can do that. Now, he can buy them 2 at a time, or he can buy them however many at a time he wants, but as the monies come in at different times, you can buy them differently, but if this budget that we set, that the council and we all send to the state, says he can buy 10 police cars and the money's in there, as long as he stays within that line item, the money is being spent appropriately, honestly, because it all goes for police cars. And it doesn't have to come back and go, if he buys them 2 at a time, then he's gotta go back and tell the city council and get permission to buy 2 5 times. And it ends up loading up government into making it move at a snail's pace. And that's some of the problems we get, is because when you have to go back all the time to have somebody say, well, it's in the budget, and well, you gotta go back and get permission to spend it 5 times for when it was all in the original budget that everybody passed at the beginning of the year, and it's all under the city manager to run it. And so that's why it's very important, in my opinion, that this stop. If it's set in policy, when we have this thing set, you put it in an ordinance, it's one thing. If we do it in policy, everything is gonna come back. We've already got where you can see how much he spends every month. You can go and look at our budget every month, and it tells you how much you spent out of that line item, and there will be a check and a balance the whole way through. So to me, we don't need this. We don't need to require things that are going through the line. It's all in the original budget, what we set out, how we set the thing out, how the money's gonna be spent all the way through it. And when we add it, it's another thing. It's I don't know, we have another case today, you know, another thing coming up, okay, there were some screw-ups at the pool, and the air conditioner went out. Well, that wasn't in anybody's budget, so we have to go fix it. But then we also were short of chlorine. You can't, you know, you can't just sit there and say, well, we can transfer money from this and that, because we've already transferred money out of parks. You've already got $700,000 to build some roads and stuff out of parks and or whatever it was to build some streets, but there's no money left in parks to take. You know, $75,000 for the air conditioner that's out, that covers the place, the entrance into the building and everything else. It's not there. There's no money to transfer $45,000 out of parks again, just to say we're gonna move over and transfer it out of parks into, to pay for the chlorine. And, you know, it's not there. So we end up really being, you know, just gumming up the works and not being transparent by going up and just saying, oh, we screwed up and we missed the money. One case, we had an air conditioner, we have to buy a new one, we gotta figure out where to get that from. And the other on the chlorine, we just didn't have enough money for chlorine. But we've gotta have chlorine right away. So we just amend our budget and go, and everything is, to me, runs down the road, and everybody can see exactly where it went every day. But to send the staff back, the police chief to go back 5 times to tell them we have to go back 5 times to buy those 10 cars rather than just once to say we got enough money for 10 cars, you know, and get it spent and it's done. And you don't have to go back. It's all the same budget matter that everybody said we were gonna live up to throughout the whole year. And so I can see that, and I can tell you, we're coming off of a place where we didn't know where the money was going. Nobody knew where it was, and when we got together, we went down and we said to the state auditor, please come audit us from 2017 to 22. They did a good job. We got 147 findings of bad government and 100 pages of corrections. But we're past that. This group of people, our staff, our police chiefs, we are past all that. We have a good core here. I mean, everything, we have a good team. My God, trust them. You know, we've got to go down this road together, and we have to trust each other. And I think we have a lot of things going in a positive manner in our town. My gosh, just go to Mike Espiritu and listen to what the things we have, the options we have out at the airport that are above board. Everybody can see exactly what's going on. And when you go back and look at what they were doing, building a hangar out there and going down there and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden the guy moved to Arizona and it all flew apart. I mean, we put a lot of $3 million out there, water lines and stuff towards that airport and on crazy stuff, and it all blew up. But we're not doing the same things anymore. We have a 105-acre person going out there. We've got a bus company that's looking to come here. We have a battery company that's looking to come here maybe, and you know, it's not all connected. We have a lot of really good things going, and we gotta trust each other because we're doing this together, but let's not tie their hands where they gotta go back 4 times to get close, 4 times more than once. I mean, it's just, we just don't, it's all done. And our budget means what it is, and let our staff, they're professionals, give them the credit and the ability to say, we need a fire truck and this is what it is. I give Chavis all that authority, and you know, I'll give all Donovan all the authority on the police department that he wants to say, because he's earned our respect, and we have to do that. And I really think this needs to go away in my heart of hearts, because we are a weak. This is designed to have the city manager run the whole show. That's the way it was designed from the government, that's what it's known for, and, anybody who's been involved in it, I have two brothers that were married, we all agree, it's exactly a weak mayor, city council form of government. The one who has the powers is our manager. That's exactly the way it is. And I don't tell them who to hire. No, I don't. The staff, the chief hires who he wants, and he hires, you know, those things. I do get to pick the chief and the fire chief, but you all ratify it. But it's not I don't call anybody and say, I'll hire him. I don't do that, and I'm not gonna, because that's his job. So I would hope we would, do away with this. I think it needs to go. And I think we're covered, we're safe, and everything is safe going down the road. I don't think there's anything, we have a budget, we will live into that budget, we won't have the same 147 pages of finding that those other people did, because we're honest. And that's the way I feel. Okay, so that's it as far as I'm concerned. Everybody's spoken 2 or 3 times?
Councilor, Mayor Pro Tem.
Oh, Councilor Corn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I guess I'm getting more confused, like my counterpart at the other end of the counter, when we thought that it was a $60,000 limit, we're doubling that in this proposal. There's nothing that says you can't do multiple, you don't have to do them one at a time, you can bring 5 patrol units in at one time. In my tenure here or at the county, I don't remember buying a patrol unit. We always buy multiples, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's just the way it is. And so, I'm sorry, I don't see things the way you do, and you don't see things the way I do. I understand that. That's the reason why we're supposed to debate this stuff. But I think that things have gotten out of hand a time or two, and I think we need to look at this. I think passing this for public hearing is, for advertisement, is not gonna cause anybody any hiccup. Gives some people a chance to really go in and look at it. We got no votes, and we got yes votes, and we got confused votes. We're not voting on it, final passage tonight. We got another crack at this next meeting or the meeting after. And nobody brought any amendments to it. Said, didn't like the language, the way it's presented. Don't have any alternative to look at. So, I'm sorry we can't get together on this thing, make a unanimous decision. I guess that's not gonna happen today.
Any further? All right. Seeing no one else, we have a motion to advertise for public hearing by Councilor Gass, seconded by Councilor Corn. And I think all the discussion's done. If we have a motion for item 3, ordinance 2604, as I recall the ordinance, it was for to hold a public hearing. And so, if the clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Cavan,
No.
Counselor Marujo,
No.
Counselor Corn,
Yes,
Counselor Johnson,
Yes.
Counselor Oropesa,
No.
Counselor Halverson,
No.
Counselor Gass,
Yes.
Counselor Arnold.
No with explanation.
Still let you vote.
No. I have no control about that. The last, I
if you don't know her by now, she can be stubborn and she's gonna do what she wants to do, so that's fine, I'm not,
Girl, we know.
Or to give her explanation.
yes, to give your explanation. ma'am.
Okay, yes, I'm saying no, because I actually believe, what I've heard on both sides, I think there's a lot of conflicting information going back and forth, there's a lot of confusion, so in my opinion, I think it's best to let this lie, and then, have conversations at a later date, so that's what I'm saying, let's go ahead and stop, let this rest, and if we need to, we'll bring it back. Thank you.
Okay, by a vote of 3 in the affirmative, 5 in the negative, ordinance 26-4 to authorize to hold a public hearing for adopting ordinance 26-04, amending the city of Roswell's purchasing procedures has failed. So we will not do that by a vote of 3 in the affirmative, 5 in the negative. Okay, next we go to item 15. I believe.
Yes.
Yes, item 15. Okay, this is approval for lodger's tax funding request for Nancy Lopez project celebration for scholarship. Councilor Gas.
I motion that we approve the lodger's tax funding request for Nancy Lopez Legacy Celebration for sponsorship.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second by Councilor, is it Marulo or? Yeah, okay.
Make sure you forget.
Okay, on a motion by Councilor, Gas, and seconded by Councilor Marulo to approve the lodger's tax funding request for Nancy Lopez Legacy Celebration. Yes, ma'am.
So this item before you was pulled from the consent agenda for discussion, I believe, for the celebration of the Nancy Lopez Legacy sponsorship. At Finance Committee, they recommended $10,000 for the event. And then I also have Diane Taylor here to speak if you guys have any questions, or to answer any questions.
Okay. Yes, Ms. Taylor. 3 minutes. I'm sorry, but I just.
Hi, my name is Diane Taylor, 1107 Purdue Drive. I am requesting a sponsorship for, let me say, it's not just a Nancy Lopez celebration. It's a very historical event. What we have here is history, not just New Mexico, but nation and worldwide history. We have a young girl at the age of 6 years old began to play golf. At the age of 12 years old, she won her first ladies golf tournament. But more importantly, she is our first Hispanic female golfer in the history of ladies golf. In order for her to play on a high school team, we had to go through a court process because at that time in history, there were no girls' teams. And Nancy was just a phenomenal athlete that it took great effort, a long process to have her even play in the state of New Mexico. She went on to be world famous, but more than that, she set a pathway, history in the state of New Mexico to have not only the first girl playing on a team and golfing, but that team was the first team in the United States. She developed a pathway for other young girls to follow and to bring a whole new chapter into historic, our first Hispanic female, our first golfer, who went on and broke all records. I'd be happy to pass out some information to you. Not only that, but she developed opportunities and showing kids, you can do it, you can achieve. She's one that sets a positive example, not just for our kids, for the state of New Mexico, and it came out of Roswell. In this world, there's called a Solheim World Ladies Cup. Nancy Lopez won that cup. 2 decades later, she captained another young lady from Roswell named Jurina. In the world, only 2 young women from the same town, the same high school has won that. That is a world accomplishment. Please ask me some questions if you'd like, but, and why are we celebrating? I had gotten a phone call 2 days ago from Golf Channel. Wants to know if this is really happening in Roswell. That's a national television channel. They want to come and cover it. Of the teams that made history for the 4 years, there were 24 players on that team. I want you to know, from all over the country, they are coming here to Roswell. They have all committed. Where have you ever seen that before? So it's a celebration of youth. It's a celebration of what we can do. It's a celebration of Roswell, New Mexico. It's a celebration of New Mexico. It's a celebration of the United States that we have a world-famous person in good standings that has accomplished it. And they are all coming back in September to celebrate. I ask the City Council of Roswell, New Mexico to please help and support this activity.
Thank you. Any questions? Mr. Juan, Professor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just, I guess I just need a clarification from Councilor Cameron, who pulled the item off of consent. Was the intent to pull it out to discuss the amount, or was it just for discussion so that people could hear it? Because my understanding is originally you had asked for 47,000.
The original request was, I want to say, 2,500, but if we could, 25,000, excuse me.
TJ can give us the answer, I believe.
Yes. So on the application, the budget request was 47,000, the sponsorship request.
47,000, and
But
then
only wanted,
you only got approved for 10.
yes,
So
pardon me?
you only got approved for 10,000,
Yes.
and that was through finance, or was it through the first committee that it went to?
So occupancy tax board recommended the 10,000 and finance also recommended the 10,000.
So I guess my question is, was the purpose to pull it out, was that to make an amendment to increase it, or just for the discussion purposes?
Councilor
Councilor Lopez, thank you for asking the question, because I was fixing to make an amendment for to the financial consideration for this. When we approved this and we approved some of the other lodgers tax deals, you know, I was caught off guard a little bit because it was promoted that we were kind of following the recommendations from the staff, and they recommended 10,000. And then we turned around and suddenly we upped staff's recommendation on the Pinata Fest to 20,000. And I was like going, well, wait a second, why are we ignoring staff's recommendation here when the Pinata Fest, I'm sorry, it's a great event. It's every year. I mean, it happens every year anyway. This is a one-time event to recognize the accomplishments of Nancy Lopez. And, you know, the county has made the bypass after her. We were opening a new school that the mayor and I worked hard to get it to where it's located. The kids, I mean, this is gonna be stuff, but the kids at Nancy Lopez are excited about being in the school. And on top of that, the golf course, Nancy will be here for the recognition that she wasn't here for when the city council named the golf course after her. We're gonna have people that are coming from probably out of country, internationally. We're gonna have people that are gonna be coming from around the United States. This is gonna be a very big publicity event for the city of Roswell and our golf community that Jarena Pillar and Nancy are two amazing athletes. And JoJo, I mean, the Robinson family, they're NCAA collegiate golf coaches now. I mean, we have a lot of great programs that have gone on. Our first tee program is first class. And this is all a big deal for this community, and anything that is brought in on this deal is going to be, anything that's left over from the golf tournament, all those other things, it's gonna go to our first tee program, which is all about our kids. And so I wanted to amend this, to the 20,000 that we gave for the Pinata Fest. So,
I'd like to comment also that our hotels, we have 2 hotels where a lot of these people are coming in and have already registered. We have a conference room where they already registered, where we have to have a hospitality area for the press. We have 2 TV stations already committed to coming into Roswell. This is gonna be a big media thing, and it's something to really promote Roswell and our youth. It's not just something that we're celebrating, it's historical, and this is a 3-day event. We will be having programs for kids in the schools, elementary schools. We will be engaging with every high school golf team. It's really has evolved into something, a major event. And this will never happen again. Due to the people's age and everything, this will never happen again. And unfortunately, I'm sorry it took this long for it to occur.
Okay, so, now,
just so you know, I amended it to 20,000. And Councilor Halverson seconded it.
okay. So now we're back on, this amount. We have a motion on the floor by Councilor Cavan to change to $10,000 to 20. And it was seconded by Councilor, Halverson, and to go to 20. Is there further discussion on that matter? Yes.
So, the staff recommended 5,000. We have not used the lodger's tax correctly until we started this year again. And we got real hotel owners on the deal. And they've got so much money to put in for sponsorship and so much for advertising. And it's in their best interest to decide where we spend that money. Because they want the best bang for their buck, which is happening now, which hasn't happened in the past. And so we should really take their consideration in, that's really important. This money is not the city of Roswell's, it's really theirs to invest. And it's our best interest to get gross receipts tax. There is no doubt what Dream has done for Roswell. That's irrelevant in this case right here. Of the other items that came in and asked for lodger's tax money in the finance committee meeting, I think the Pinata Fest was 67,000 or something, and it got cut down to 20. The symphony got cut, everybody got cut down. In this instance, the lodger's tax people said, let's give them 10,000, and they got to be really careful, and I made sure TJ tells them, you only have this much, so don't run out of it. And so they should have a say, and they said 10,000. Then I really think we should listen to our staff, which said 5,000. And I take great credence in what our staff says. But the finance committee had the same discussion, and we raised it back up to $10,000. And by raising it to 20, what you're doing is taking the policy that we're doing, and you're saying, well, staff, we're not listening to you, and the lodger's tax people, which are the hotel owners that have the vested interest in this. And now, because of whatever, you gotta take the person out of it. We've got a really good system that we're doing right. And that system is the hotel owners, the lodgers tax board recommends to staff. Staff then considers it, and she has different considerations here why she brought it down. But then we listened to everybody in the presentation of finance, and we brought it back up. So I'm against raising it 20,000 because you're taking it out of the hands of the people that are supposed to be making that decision and recommending it to us. And we already doubled staff's recommendation and went with the lodgers tax board. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Further comments? Okay, so we're on the motion, we're on the deal. We have a motion by Counselor Cavan to change the 10,000 to 20,000, seconded by Counselor Halverson. If the clerk would call the roll.
Counselor Cavan,
Yes.
Counselor Marujo,
Yes.
Counselor Corn,
Yes.
Counselor Johnson,
Yes.
Counselor Oropesa,
Yes.
Counselor Halverson,
Yes.
Counselor Gass,
No.
Counselor Arnold.
Yes.
I vote of seven affirmative, 1 in the negative. The funding request has been changed from $10,000 to $20,000. Back on the item before us, is any further discussion? So on a motion by Counselor Gass, seconded by Counselor Marujo to approve item 15 on the budget, as amended to $20,000, if the clerk would call the roll.
Counselor Cavan,
Yes.
Counselor Marujo,
Yes.
Counselor Corn,
Yes.
Counselor Johnson,
Yeah.
Counselor Oropesa,
Yes.
Counselor Halverson,
Yes.
Counselor Gass,
No.
Counselor Arnold.
Yes.
I vote of 7 affirmative, 1 in the negative. Item 15 is duly passed. Next, we're on item 11.
Okay, we're so close, guys.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask, the city manager real quick? We need to adjust this budget. What is, we need to put in there for chlorine? If we
45,000.
don't put it in there, then you're gonna shut the pool down on Monday because you can't run pools without chlorine.
Yeah, that's exactly, so I think to use the British term, by misadventure, the chlorine money got cut from the budget. As you guys know, the parks budget got cut a little. This budget got leaned out pretty good by finance, to their credit, actually. But the parks budget is when, I wasn't at the finance meeting, but what I was told was that Hess should just move, that somebody had said that Hess just needs to move between line items. Now, I hear that Councilor Gass doesn't want me doing that, but I actually don't really have the money to move between line items because the recreation fund, the way DFA writes it, funds are what I can move in between. The rec fund is separate from the general fund. All that's in the rec fund is the pool and the sports fields. So what I'd have to, and what we've already had to do because of the broken HVAC in the pool is move quite a bit around already. I would prefer just to get $45,000 out of the rec fund, which has over $4.5 million in it presently. I believe it's $4.5 million. The recreation fund has $5.4 million available cash. Now, like I said, though, if we do not have a chlorine budget, what you would be effectively saying is I need to stop watering up to $45,000 worth, or we can just close the pool because we won't have enough chlorine after a couple weeks.
Is that part of it? Is that part of it?
Yeah, so number 11 is the budget resolution. And so we did have and there was an audit, I'll send it out to you guys, but a counselor had submitted a number of audit inquests about things I had done. No findings were made. However, one suggestion was that we need to tighten up the collective us, how we do our resolution. So by way of background, the budget resolution legally, Josh agrees, is the final say on how I can spend, according to chapter 6 of the state code. So what we need to make sure is when we are doing these, we want to make sure that there's a proper amendment and that the language you guys want to see is in there. So based on what happened tonight, my amendment that somebody could just say accepted as to form would be is to change the $10,000 item for Nancy Lopez to 20 and to add 45,000 for chlorine or rec fund for supplies effect. Because I think what had happened trying to go through the record is we might have put it in fluids because we buy fluidic chlorine instead of, and then when you guys looked at the fluids, you were like, this is obnoxious, which it was, because they only have half a car over at the rec center.
So that brings our expenses to 365, 604?
Right, and I'd let Tony give the final.
TJ has the 10,000 in, or the extra 10 in their budget for Nancy Lopez.
Oh, no, but
You want to add it extra in there?
oh, that's within the budget already?
Yeah, it is already within.
Oh, okay, cool, so just.
So it would just be adding the chlorine.
Okay. My mistake.
Which is 45.
So it's 355.
Right.
And, we need to make a motion for this?
Yes, so there'd be a motion to amend the resolution and then 6 votes are needed to pass a resolution.
Why can't we do line item budget adjustment?
Well, so there's not a whole lot to move around. And from what I had heard in our previous discussion is you would like fewer line item motions without me going to you.
Well, I wish you'd have been at the finance committee meeting to tell us this at that time, but we were told that we could just do that and amend the budget next time and it'd be fine to get it there.
You sure? I guess it's, yeah, and then I can go to you guys again, but it seemed to me like a routine item, like it was clearly by mistake. We all want the pool open. So there's no reason to not just clean it up since we're doing a budget amendment, right? A budget resolution today.
Yeah.
So
Councilor Albertson.
this 310, 604, that already includes the extra 10 we just gave him?
No,
No, the 10's.
the 10's in their budget currently.
It's already in their budget. This is just
Okay, so,
the cost
This
of
is
chlorine.
45 for the chlorine.
yeah. I just don't want to do that.
So this would fix the chlorine.
Yes. And that hopefully will be my last budget amendment request for a very, very long time. Actually, fire department's gonna come with one, but
Well,
that's,
Mr. Mayor, I move
it's
that we-
goofy. We'll explain
we
that.
add the 45,000 for the chlorine to come out of what?
The rec fund. Yeah, so the rec fund, which I'm not sure how it exists still, but it does, has 5.4 million cash, so it's very comfortable.
That's my motion.
Second.
So we have a motion by Council Lady Halverson, seconded by the Cool King of Roswell, Mr. Councilor Cavan, to adopt the resolution. Is that this number 26?
No, mine is to add the 45,000 out of the rec fund for the chlorine.
To add $45,000 out of the rec fund. Is that correct, Madam President?
Correct, so it would be to Recreation Pool Department, the Oregon object code is 26154242, 725601, and an expense for chlorine in the amount of 45,000.
That's different.
That's department.
Okay, is there any further discussion? No further discussion? If the clerk would call the roll on adopting the resolution we're talking about, that she has graciously, the amendment to the budget on a voice vote, is that fine? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's close. 8-0. Well, oh yeah, it is passed. Okay, so that's that. Now we go back to the beginning here, to the, where am I supposed to go? Here it is. We go to Closed session for,
We have to vote on the resolution.
We have to vote on the resolution as amended.
okay, I'm sorry. So, motion by. On motion by Counselor, who made the motion,
Counselor Gass.
Counselor Gass, seconded by,
I do not have a second.
I don't have a
we have a second.
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Cavan to approve the, resolution number 26-48 as amended. All those in favor?
Resolution 2649, Mr. Mayor.
49.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, 2649. All those in favor signify.
This has to be a roll call, it's a resolution.
Oh, okay. All, the clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Cavan.
Yes.
Counselor Marujo.
Yes.
Counselor Corn.
Yes.
Counselor Johnson. Counselor Lopeza.
Yes.
Counselor Halverson.
Yes.
Counselor Gass.
Yes.
Counselor Arnold.
Yes.
So 8 affirmative, none of the negative. Resolution 26-49 has passed. And we will have party at the pool. So thank you. Okay, next we go for,
Yeah.
closed session.
Great idea.
Can we go in the hole for just a little bit and come right back out?
Mayor Pro Tem.
Oh, I would,
Wait. I'm ready.
okay,
I got my script.
okay, I would just like, at the next council meeting and, on Monday, I've asked that we look about the position of pro tem. And I have a great deal of concern that if something happens to me and if someone else has a problem, the city could be, put in a hard way, for somebody to actively take over what's going on here until it's done. That is a vote that is done by counselors, and you all decide this among yourselves. But I think as far as the assuring the safety of the position that someone is there behind me, I think I have to bring this issue up. You counselors go decide what you want. I hope you would decide, however you decide it, that's up for you to say. I don't have any say in that. And, but I just want to make sure there's someone that is okay to look after things, if something happens to me. And that's the position of pro tem. And so I hope you would, look at that. Just so in the next meeting, that's gonna come up. It has to be done, has to be noticed. It's gonna happen in an official meeting. And that's why it has to be brought up, why I have to bring it up at the next meeting. So, just so that's above board, so everybody hears it, it's here, everything's fine. Now we can go to closed session if that's. And I know Councilor Corn.
Mr. Mayor, I move we go to closed session pursuant to NMSA 1978-10-15-1 H2 to discuss limited personnel matters.
Have a motion and a second. Clerk, you have to call the roll.
Mayor, if I may, I believe the appropriate motion here is H5 and H7 for attorney-client privilege and union negotiations.
Well, this is what I've been given.
I apologize,
So you
Council
bring me
Carmichael.
what you want me to say right now, please.
All right.
Go ahead. It's not on I won't have to talk about it. Oh.
Aye.
Page 7.
Page 7,
And page 5. Okay. I'm done.
second. Oh, we have a motion and a second. You have to call the roll, right? So, clerk, call the roll.
Counselor Captain,
Yes.
Counselor Marujo,
Yes.
Counselor Corn,
Yes.
Counselor Johnson.
Yes.
Counselor Oropesa,
Yes.
Counselor Alverson,
Yes, sorry.
Counselor Gass,
Yes.
Counselor Arnold.
Yes.
Motion passes.
This, mine,
Yes.
this is what I have.
know, I wanted, Chief. Yeah, not fire chief, he's on the phone now. You know, I would wanna compliment you all on your ability to handle things. You guys have gotten so much stronger and so much better. I mean, I sat down here, from right here, and I saw, Chad Cole get manhandled right over there sitting in that chair. I saw somebody there beating on him and everything else, and nothing happened. But today, when that guy got up there and started refusing to leave and everything and giving a dirty look to our city clerk, you know, I wanna compliment you guys for all coming up here and having the policeman here. Poor old Chad, remember when he was over there and that guy was beating him on the shoulder and on the head and everything? You guys, you know, you're a lot faster action than the last police we had in here, and I just wanna thank you for that.
That was a good workout for me.
I hope you don't put that in damn pencil.
You should have said it.
You ready?
Do it.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay,
Mr.
next we
Mayor,
have,
we're now reconvening the whole discussion at 10:05. I'll entertain a motion to certify the matters discussed in closed session related to those specified in the motion to close the meeting, and no action was taken during the closed session.
okay, so do we need to call ourselves back in? So we're already back in, okay. Next we have, any council comments? Oh, we have to vote on it? Call ourselves back in, clerk, call the roll.
Yes.
Memorable. Counselor Memorable.
Here.
Yes.
Yes.
Counselor Johnson.
Yes.
Counselor Oropesa.
Yes.
Counselor Halverson. Counselor Halverson.
Yes.
Counselor Gass.
Yes.
Counselor Arnold.
Yes.
Okay, no council comments? Okay, city manager reports, announcements, information.
Mr. Mayor, I had some stuff, but we have another council meeting Monday at an earlier time. What I said briefly over there, I do really want to commend though, Chief Chavez. Like, I've not heard a single bad thing about the ambulance service. And that, I can't really give credit to how big a lift that was, and those guys have done right by us. So otherwise, thank you. Have a good night.
Okay, employee out of state travel. So,
As reported.
Anybody have any questions or?
Should we go home?
Well, I'm Joe Chavez, he's walking around again, if he got off his phone, he could have been done by now.
Yeah. Chief Fuller just wanted me to tell you guys that he was headed back up to Maryland for the second part of his incident command deal. And he just wanted to thank you guys for supporting him and letting him go whenever he did that.
Okay. All right, is there anything else to come before the council? Okay. Stand adjourned, thank you very much.